Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Our show originates in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. We connect you to the songwriters and the stories behind your favorite songs. Join us as we take a look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Now, here's your host, Dave Linehan.
Hi, I'm Dave, and thank you again for joining us. And wow, does time fly? It really does. You know, I started this podcast in January as kind of a passion for the craft of songwriting. And as we've told you in the past, there are just so many great songwriters in Nashville. And my goal was to share the stories of these interesting, creative people and hear the stories behind the songs they write. And occasionally, you know, I thought we could take a trip outside of Nashville, like we did last week with hit writer and producer Morgan Matthews of Fort Worth. If you didn't get a chance to listen to last week's episode, please do. Morgan has had tremendous success. 3 #1 Billboard charted songs, including one with Alicia Keys. Are you kidding me? So once again, I want to thank Morgan for being on the show. As you may know, I'm still pretty new to podcasting, but as a former radio broadcaster, I have never lost my desire to talk to interesting people. I used to always love to interview guests on my radio shows, and you combine this with my love for songwriting, and well, pretty much there you have it, the reason why this podcast exists. But I wanted to be really specific and just focus on that one thing, the craft of songwriting. And that's what I think we've been able to do here in season 1. And this was something that I've wanted to do for quite a long time. But, you know, I had no clue how to go about putting a podcast together. And it wasn't until I was asked to be a guest on my friend Len Harvey of Gowski's podcast that I really started seriously considering putting together this show. So I got to thank Len Harvey and his great podcast, which is called Len's Burning Bush. He showed me the way, and I hope that you would check out Len's podcast as well. It's available everywhere that you get podcasts. Len and I used to do the radio thing in Cincinnati. I did afternoon drive, and he was my traffic guy for a while, and we just had a blast. Really had a blast. So this is episode 20 now of our inaugural season, and this is going to be the last episode of season 1. But, you know, by no means am I going away. In fact, we're just getting started. I really feel that we are. I just want to take a little break, rock and reload, and give you a chance to catch up. If you haven't heard any of the other previous 19 episodes, please check them out. And then perhaps by late summer, early fall, we'll be back with many more new episodes. Maybe a new cover look, maybe a new intro. Who knows? We're working on it and we're learning as we go. So I want to also thank not only Len Harvey, but all the great folks that listen to the podcast, like you, and who share that podcast. I really appreciate the word of mouth, and I've always believed word of mouth is the best advertising. So when you hit that like button on YouTube or on the socials, or you share them, boy, you're really doing us a big favor, and I really appreciate that. I also want to thank a lot of the guests here in season 1. You know, Billy Lee, who wrote the big Gary Allen hit, The One, my brother from another mother. It was great to have them on the show. Radio Hall of Fame DJ and great songwriter Bill White. We had hit writers like Jane Bach and Win Varble. Jamie Harris, who is one of Americana's finest with her brand of folk and roll. I absolutely adore her and love what she's doing. And then there were up-and-coming artists and songwriters. People like my friends Olivia Francis, Brianna Faith, and the amazing Ava Page, who is just an inspiration to all of us. There were great performers like cousin Eddie Heinzelman and Mark Allen Barnett, who's not only a great guy, but a great coach and mentor. We had country music royalty, folks like Jenny Eddie Jennings, whose mom is Jessie Coulter, her dad Dwayne Eddy, and also called Waylon Jennings' dad as well, a great songwriter, co-writer, and performer as well. It's great to have her on the show. And did you happen to see Trey Ackerman's show? Trey was fantastic. His dad was one of the original drummers on the Grand Ole Opry and the drummer for Hee Haw. So he grew up around that kind of stuff. That's a great episode. If you haven't checked that one out, please do. And then there are people that I very much admire, people that I enjoy working with in my own personal songwriting journey, thanks to people like Scott Barrier and Greg Wilson, the Louisville Slugger, Bill O'Hanlon, Michael Saletta, my Aussie brother, and Pamela Hopkins, too. It was a wonderful season 1, and thank you for making it so. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did, and I can't wait to join you for season 2 coming soon. Now, there's one other podcast I want to tell you about. I recently came across it, and just by the name of it alone, I knew I had to listen and find out what it was all about. It was called Casey on the Island. And the first thing I wanted to know was like, what island? How do I get there? I could use some beach time. And as it turns out, it's Casey Johns, who's here in Nashville, is a great performer. And I know our guest today can tell us more about it because he was recently on Casey's Island. And she has a great show. So check it out. And hopefully we'll get her on the Songwriter Connection podcast. I would love to do that. Maybe do hers as well. So she's very entertaining. And like I say, our guest today was on the show very recently. And I'm very happy to have our guest. I really am. I've been in town about 8 years. This month makes 8 years. And I think our guest has been about the same time. But it seems like everywhere I go in town, I run into him. He's playing everywhere. He's got new songs, new singles, so many exciting things happening right now. Has played all the great songwriter venues from the Bluebird to, well, last night we caught him at the Commodore Grill. We had a big event last night. Our guest is Justin Love. How are you, Justin? Good to see you.
Hey, Dave, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, man. This is exciting.
Thanks for making the time, because I know you are busy. You work during the day, and then you write, and then you perform about every night.
Yeah, it's
how
either
do you do it?
It's either, it's the three things I was telling, you were talking about Casey Johns, good friend of mine. I was recently on her podcast. Great person, great performer, a little spitfire is what she is. It's three things I'm either doing. I'm either performing, or I'm writing, or I'm out in the networking supporting somebody doing something. So.
And that's really cool about you. We always talk about networking on the show, but you support the other writers. And I've seen you play guitar for other writers in town that maybe don't play for themselves. Yeah. And I've also seen you pick up a mic and sing background vocals. Yeah. So you not only, you help other people, and in doing so, you help yourself, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm thankful that, one thing that I will always be thankful for, even though as a kid I hated it, is I had to quote Bible verses.
Yeah.
And my parents were youth pastors, so I grew up in the church, but I had to quote Bible verses to get my allowance. So
really?
We just did our chores just because we had to, but getting my allowance meant I had to quote Bible verses. So, at 5 and 6 years old, what I thought was just going to be something for a moment that I could get, money and candy, ended up being a thing to fuel my brain for life and my memory. So that's why I get asked to do a lot of, backup vocals for people, playing guitar for them, because I'll memorize their stuff usually. You're
constantly giving. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite verse?
Ephesians 2:10 would have to be my favorite verse, which simply says we are his workmanship, talking about God. We are God's workmanship created in Christ to good works, which he has ordained or predestined that we walk in them. And I think the beautiful thing about that is we weren't meant to go through this life without any meaning. The whole purpose is literally for good.
How has songwriting given you meaning?
Oh, man. Well, my experiences have been amazing. So as far as like the people that I've got to be in rooms with, the way that I get to express my story, and I guess I even call it my testimony, because I am a big man of faith, and all about, the reason why I'm here at 8 years as well, just like you, is all because of my faith and stepping out, knowing that God only goes as far as my faith will allow him. And, so, whenever I think of like songwriting in that aspect, I just want to leave my mark the best way that I know how, and that God's given me the gift to.
And when you have that gift, you've got to share it. I think it's important. And
Absolutely.
And you certainly do.
Yeah.
And, you're not only a songwriter, but you're a great artist too. And we'll talk more about that. I want to talk about some recent success. And it was just this week. Now, we taped this in early June, and it starts to stream on the 29th. But very recently, you've got some real good news about one of my favorite songs. In fact, let me tell you, I've seen you played a lot of places, but I think it was at the Bluebird that I first heard the song I Wanna.
Oh.
And I remember shouting out, "That's a hit!" If I know hits, that is one.
I think I remember you saying that someone recorded a moment of it, and literally as soon as it was over, the clap started happening, and there you were in my left ear.
That's
jerk.
A
hit. Actually, it was my right ear, because you were on the backside. That was hilarious.
Yeah, like playing it again. But so recently you got some good news. You recorded this song, and it's been a single. It's out there on Spotify and all the places. But you got some really good news about it too. Tell me about that.
Yes. So first off, I would say the song wouldn't be without my buddy Troy Castellano. It took 2 years to get in a room with him, but that's because he runs a nonprofit organization called Instruments for Education, where he donates instruments for kids that want to learn to play in schools. But I would say that the success was quite exciting because we weren't expecting it at first. It's a lot of things come and go in this town. Just when you think you've got something exciting, it falls through the cracks in the crevice. But bottom line, we were thankful God allowed this one. So what happened is we had a friend of ours. His name is Scott, and he was an editor assistant on this, or assistant editor, whatever you want to call it, to the guy who did a bunch of Christopher Nolan Batman films.
Oh, cool.
And he was out in L.A., and ever since day one, so I had gotten hired once to put guitar to one of his melodies. Neat. And that was very challenging because whenever he was singing it to me on a phone, he kept changing keys by half a step. So it was very hard for my brain to go, So I went ahead and just went with my gut, and it seemed to work, and he ended up recording with Troy on it. But anyway, so he heard the song. He had pre-ordered it and whatever and downloaded it through my friend Terrace, who introduced us. And he literally shot me a text and said, "Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this song of yours. I wanna." He goes, "I think we need to make it go viral. I want to help make it go viral." So he's the reason it kind of got put over in the UK and on some radio stations there. I was very grateful and thankful that he pushed it. Well, then some time went by, and we had been, I guess, kind of stagnant for a moment, just letting it run its course, whatnot, not really doing too much on just playing a lot, obviously. Playing the heck out of it. It doesn't get old to me because it's still my favorite song to date. And I hope my other co-writers...
It doesn't get old to me either.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And but bottom line, so we got a call one day, and he was like, I would love to pitch this to, TV and film. And I'm thinking in my head, I never expected this song to be what it is. Now, granted, it wouldn't be also what it is without my amazing team of producers, Jason Wyatt and Elliot Dieter. These guys... good team. Elliot Dieter, should I say. Great team. Yeah. He took that song, and basically the demo that Troy and I did at his place, I took it to my producer, and he said, "Bro, this is amazing. This needs to get out there." Yeah, and it was nice that he appreciated the creativity that we started and just elevated it. And it's just such a beautiful process. I got to be a part of it all. It was so amazing. I'm so thankful. I've been working with Jason for about 3 years now, and he never disappoints, and he never lets me not be a part of the creative process because he trusts my ear. So that's nice. But anyway, so to the success part. So we were excited that we got put in a TV show recently. We got what they call a sync placement, right? Which is where
we've talked about that on the show a lot.
Yeah, so we got an opportunity to pitch the song. Our friend pitched it, and it ended up going through all the ladders of the way up and everything like that, and it got through the production side. And last email we got, we put in our information, sent them all that they wanted, and okay, we'll get back to you shortly. And it seemed like that was back in March, and I'm thinking in my head,
forever.
It's now, May going into June, and I'm thinking, we didn't get the placement. Well, praise God, we got nominated, just like, it's like anything else.
Right.
I like to tell people I thank God for the Grammy I have that yells at me every morning versus the one that sits and collects dust on a shelf. But
it's clever.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's kind of that same thing. And finally, literally last Saturday, or Friday, should I say, we got an email from them saying, "Congratulations, your song is going to be on a Hulu TV show."
Awesome.
Called Claws.
Claws.
So we are super excited.
It's like the final episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just a placement, it's a season finale. And
Now, did I see this is on TNT as well?
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be on that network, the TNT network, and it's also going to be available on Hulu.
That's awesome. We can all watch for it.
Yeah. I've already caught up. I mean,
Are you? What's it about? What's the show about?
It's about these ladies that own a nail salon. And they end up getting into some money laundering and drugs, and all that jazz, obviously.
Breaking Band of the...
basically.
of the nail
females.
industry.
The female version of Breaking Bad.
I can't wait to see how they fit this song in. Yeah. Let's hear it, man. And, I struggled with her to play the recorded version, but we're around the table. We're around the dining room table. And a lot of our shows have been Zoom because of COVID and distance, but you're here around the table, and let's do it live, man. All right, people can download the other version, right?
They can, absolutely, yeah. And we appreciate them listening. And again, cool. I'm so thankful for this song.
Just in Love on the podcast today.
I wanna take you to the top of the old town water tower. I wanna write our names where everyone can see. I wanna walk you to that old iron bridge where I used to catch the biggest fish. Maybe you and I could take a little midnight dip. I wanna take you by the hand, show you places you thought you'd never see. I wanna ask you for a dance, try the boys' magic shirt with me. If it makes you smile, makes you laugh, let's take it slow. Make it last if it's something you think that you know that you're gonna. Baby, I wanna pull you in close, my hands on your hips while you're right here. Wanna let you in on a little secret, whisper in your ear. I wanna show you what it is when we lock lips and I still kiss. Break down your walls, make you fall, willing to risk it all. I wanna take you by the hand, show you places you thought you'd never see. I wanna ask you for a dance, try the boys' magic shirt with me. If it makes you smile, makes you laugh, let's take it slow. Make it last if it's something you think that you know that you're gonna. Baby, I wanna. Oh. Well, I wanna tell you that you're beautiful in more ways than the obvious. Wanna say it loud to the biggest crowd, a sold out audience. I wanna get down on one knee, look you in the eye with your hand in mine. I wanna pop a question, no second guessing. Girl, this time if I make you smile, make you laugh, promise you our love will last. If it's something you think that you know that you're gonna. Baby, I wanna. Take you out, take you by the hand. Girl, I just wanna be your man. Oh, if it's something you think that you know that you're gonna. Baby, I wanna.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Did I tell you it's a hit? It's a hit. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're proud of that one, and
you should
man,
be.
the story behind that one. I mean, it was. Can I explain the story?
Well, that was going to be my next question. You talked a little bit about Troy Castellano.
Yes.
And he does have that great organization. But we've talked about it in the past on this show as well. And in season 2, we've got to get Troy on the show.
Yes, you do, absolutely.
Because
great guy.
What he does is amazing. He's got that music, that instruments and education. People donate old instruments, and I've got a few that I can give him. And then they fix them up and they bring them into the schools for folks to, and I think music needs to have more of a presence in school today, and that's usually the first thing they cut. It's a shame. So I love what he's doing, and he's a great songwriter too, and performer in his own right. So, and he's a co-writer of I Wanna. So tell us how it all came together.
He is. Well, also another thing about his Instruments for Education, he recently had Keith Urban donate some guitars.
Did he?
So that was really cool. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember how many. It was quite a few, but yeah. So that's exciting. But
that's great.
So the way it came about, like I was, like I tell everybody. So obviously the song was actually inspired. I was driving. I do water testing during the day. That's my day job. That's what pays my bills right now. Wow. But anyway, so I was driving down the road and I just had the thought of I Wanna, and I was thinking, I wanna what? Now, mind you, the whole thing started whenever I was at the Listening Room Cafe, and before we went on, there was this girl that I liked, and she was like maybe 30 feet across, and I called it, she gave me, or she did what's called the Miley Cyrus moment, where it's all slow motion, and she turns, and her hair flips with the wind, and it's all slow motion, and the guy gets captivated and just breathtaking by the image of it, and she smiled at me, and when she did, I about melted. And the very first thing that popped in my head was, I want to tell you that you're beautiful in more ways than the obvious. Wow. How can I do that the best way that I know how? And so I was in the car, in the van driving, and all of a sudden I had the only thing that I had when I got to Troy and brought it to Troy was, I wanna take you by the hand, show you places you thought you'd never see. I wanna ask you for a dance, try the boys' mag at you with me. That's all I had. So Troy came in and brought a lot of like the memory furniture, all the pictures, a lot of stuff in the first verse was all
Water
him.
Tower and the fish. And
Iron Bridge, absolutely.
Iron Bridge, yeah.
And I loved that. And then, in an emotional moment, I brought in a lot of the moments from the second verse, and we were just literally hashing it out. And we had already been in the studio for a couple hours working on the first song that we wrote together called Bad Date, Good Time for his Project 52 thing that he was doing on YouTube. And so we finished that, and I was like, I just want to throw this at you. And he goes, well, absolutely. We can't leave until that's done. So we started running it and writing it, and it took us maybe about an hour and 15, hour and a half to really just nail it.
Wow.
And
that's fast for a song.
Yeah, well, it was just a great collaboration, because I was throwing out things, whether it made sense or not, and he would say it, and it would make more sense because he's smarter. So it was just a great collaboration. But the bridge was one of my favorite parts whenever we were thinking about it. Because I told him, I said, the song was birthed because of this idea. And so I just said that line, I want to tell you that you're beautiful in more ways than the obvious. And then he said, I want to shout it out. I want to sing it loud. I want to shout it from the rooftops. He's just like kind of worshiping in a sense. And then he goes, I want to shout it in front of a crowd, live, an audience. I want to shout it out from a sold out audience. And it was like, bam!
Wow.
That was it, man. And just the rest of it was clockwork after that.
It was a sold-out audience probably at the listening room.
It was,
when you got that look.
I did,
So it fit perfect, didn't it? Yeah.
It did. It fit there, and one of the most moving moments was whenever we got to perform at a sold-out show for the Bluebird Cafe.
Yeah. I was there.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
very good.
It was very awesome.
Really great performance. And playing at the Bluebird is always something special.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was my second time. So Billy Lee gave me my first opportunity, and I'm so
and mine
thankful for
too.
that.
Yeah, and I am very grateful too.
Yeah.
There's just nothing like playing in front of that audience, is there?
I agree.
And you killed it, boy. You did. Let me tell you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you. You're from Waco, right? Is that where you were prior to Nashville? Is that where you grew up?
Yes, sir. I grew up in Waco, Texas, and then, around, I think, middle school, like we had been going to private Christian school all our lives, so right outside of Waco, a little bit north, is a place called Hillsboro, Texas. So we were there for the longest time for most of our school years, and I was playing sports and stuff like that, and I had already been kind of playing drums around 11 years old.
Wow.
Me and my sister were still singing, from 5 years old. I taught her to harmonize when she was 6, my older sister, Crystal. Wow. And so music had been running through us the whole time. But then when I started playing basketball, I was like, I don't want to do music for a moment. Well, then I got a drum set, and that changed all over again. I was like,
so drums your first instrument then?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
Yes, I was able to, thankfully, take my memory from the Bible verses, and someone taught me a few little things on a snare pad, and I was like, okay. And then I watched the pastor's son and studied him, and when he hit beats, when he would hit the snare, when he would hit the hi-hat and the toms. But the thing that was frustrating about it was whenever I had melodies hit me, the only thing I knew how to play was the drums. I was like, doom, doom, doom. So I was like, I've got to get some guitar in me. So my dad was a great guitar player for the youth worship team and the praise band. And so he showed me a couple of chords, and the rest kind of became history. So I've been music's been running in my blood ever since.
You're a good player. Did you take lessons as well? Or?
I did. I went to college out at MCC, McLennan Community College in Waco, Texas. I didn't go to
Where they had a music program, right?
They did, yeah. Their actual program was called Commercial Music Performance.
Isn't that something?
So it taught me how to think commercially viable thoughts and melodies. So
I'd like to take that class.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was 2 years, and after I got through doing that, I was going to go to a 4-year program, turn into a university in North Texas in Dallas. And my professor said, "No, Justin, you just need to move to Nashville and network."
Well, that was good advice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and mind you, whenever I was first doing music, I had been doing it centered around Christian genre. Just a bunch of different styles. I had pop reggae Christian songs. I had country western Christian songs. So country gospel is what they would call it. So
you got to be versatile.
All kinds of Christian rock. So I had all that stuff.
That's good.
But then whenever I moved to Nashville, a lot of stuff changed.
I bet it did. Do you remember the first song you wrote in Nashville?
Yes. My very first song in Nashville was called "Baby, I Still Do."
Baby, I Still Do.
Actually, that's not true. That was my first country song, if that's what we're talking
Oh, okay.
about. But that's because I was involved with a Sugar Baby, which I would say it's off the record, but obviously it's on the record.
A Sugar Baby?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, like I was telling Casey, her eyes got real big, like, oh my gosh. So, I had this fascination of finding out if there was a connection with someone I didn't know at all. So I got into the online dating, but actually before the online dating, I was just going through social networks. And I saw Facebook. Obviously, I downloaded Facebook. I was already on it. But then 3 down was this other one. I'm not even going to mention the name because I don't even think it exists anymore or whatever. But I met this woman on there.
We'll say, what was the old one? MySpace?
MySpace. Definitely like a MySpace, in reality. So,
yeah, okay.
But anyway, so I met this woman at Belcourt Taps.
Nice place to play.
My history of this town and everything revolves around that place and meeting her. And mind you, I still have my purity ring on and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm not ashamed of my story at this point. It's never too late to start again. But I met her, and she thought I was lying whenever I said, well, I'm not married, because I had my ring on. And she's like, well, what is that? I said, it's my purity ring, and her jaw dropped. Now, mind you, I
guess I'm not familiar with that either. What is a purity ring?
A purity ring is like basically, choosing to, abstinence.
Okay.
Yeah, for the right one, for marriage, whatever you want to call it. One of the three.
Okay.
And obviously, I went down a dark path for a moment, like most people do. Whenever they're getting, ridiculous and rebellious. But thankful, God had mercy on me, and He forgives me enough to where He gives me an opportunity, another chance, and I was still able to do my music. But so I was involved with her for a hot second and a half, and that was when I wrote my first country song. Because
was it about a woman?
It was called "Baby I Still Do."
Baby,
actually,
I Still Do. There you
so
go.
it was, and I never recorded it because it just wasn't my wheelhouse in the grand scheme of things. It was just my first song I wrote as a kid wasn't worth recording. Why would I do my first country song? So
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, we want you to do another song. Now, you've got a new single coming out in July. So this is the end of June right now. So probably, month away? A little less than a month away?
So we've got first and foremost on Father's Day, we've got a song coming out.
Oh, good.
In honor of my dad.
Oh, that's
and
good.
I would totally play that one for you, but I'm surprising him. So I'm not going to play it yet because he'll listen to this.
Let's skip over that one then. Yeah.
Oh, wait. This comes out when?
June 29th, so it's past Father's Day.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, so.
Oh. Well,
maybe you could.
I think I'm going to change wheelhouses, actually.
Well, if you would, I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Yeah, why not, dadgum?
Let's do it.
Okay. I wrote this with actually Troy Castellano, our good buddy
guy.
John Cirillo.
Oh, John Cirillo.
And my drummer and friend Cody Kelly.
Cool.
Yeah. It's called Man in My Rear View. I was always buckled up in the back seat. Couple of crazy sisters on both sides of me. Mama up front sitting to the right, 'cause Daddy, he sure loved to drive, taking every back dirt road he could see. Yeah, he'd crank up all those Diamond Rio songs, a little out of tune, but how he loved to sing along. And he'd get lost on purpose every time, just to see what adventures we could find. But somehow we'd always make it home. My memories are like looking in a mirror, reflecting every yesterday, still crystal clear. And the movie playing in my mind, that man is so much bigger than life, superhero strong in faith and love. And I don't know how I'd ever live up to the man in my rear view.
Nice.
When I was 17, I was ready to hit the road, 'cause my old man's preaching sure was getting old. Then I turned 18 and hit the gas with no intentions of looking back. But he was holding on while I was letting go. My memories are like looking in a mirror, reflecting every yesterday, still crystal clear. And the movie playing in my mind, that man is so much bigger than life. Superhero, strong in faith and love. But I never thought I'd want to turn into that man in my rear view. Ooh, ooh. And just like the miles, the years go flying by, and I come back home whenever I find the time. I put my dad through hell back then, but somehow we became best friends. And when I pull away, it's so hard for me to say goodbye. My memories are like looking in a mirror, reflecting every yesterday, still crystal clear. And the movie playing in my mind, that man is so much bigger than life. Superhero, strong in faith and love. It was more than enough to get me through. And if I'm lucky, this old boy will turn into that man in my rear view.
That's some kind of song, my friend.
Thank you, man.
Very good songwriting.
Yeah.
Justin Love is the guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Justin, that one's out there on Spotify now too, and all the places where you get music.
No, that one's not out there yet. It's actually it's available for pre-save. It's coming out Father's Day.
Well, and this is releasing on the 29th.
Oh, that's right. So
by now
I keep on forgetting.
It's out there. It's all right.
It's
out there, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So we can get it. And
I'm thankful for it.
So look for Justin Love. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I have to tell you, now this is Justin Love from New Jersey, who's also an artist, not in the genre.
Right.
So make sure when you're Googling Justin, I really encourage you to do it. He's got a lot of videos and things to watch, and you can get into his music. I always put Nashville Songwriter after Justin Love, and that's how I find you. So
you can do that. What I usually encourage people to do if they want to find me straight up, it's justinlovemusic.com.
That's easier to remember, huh?
Yeah.
justinlovemusic.com. Yeah, I was on that earlier today, so got some good stuff on there, so please check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man.
Very cool. Very good song.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was thankful and that my buddies, the guys that I wrote this with, they all appreciated it so much. Like one of them said that, if I could even imagine ever having a dad like that, because they didn't have a good one. Said, if I could ever imagine it, it'd be the one we pictured, the one we painted in this specific song. It's amazing.
Wow.
It resonated with all of them, and I'm so thankful, and my dad is my hero, definitely. I love him.
Very cool. Mine too, so good to hear that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
Now you've got another new song coming out. We were hinting about that before. This is called Wilder.
Yeah,
and so this
absolutely.
one will be out very soon, right?
This one will be out towards, I think it's July 23rd.
So they can pre-save it now.
No? Yes, they can pre-save it now.
Okay. While I got you, explain that we always see that on the socials. Pre-save my single now. What does that mean, and what does that do for you as an artist?
Well, fascinating enough, it's not really pre-saves that do a lot. I mean, if anything, the pre-save just literally tells you that, okay, you're going to make this available, and as soon as it comes out, you get the notification that it's out.
Okay.
Whereas it's a little bit more exciting versus a pre-order. So a pre-order, they have downloaded it, so they've already purchased it, and as soon as it comes out, it downloads automatically into the library.
Oh, okay.
So that's a little bit more of a push of it where I normally like to go. But pre-saves are nice, if we get enough of them. You just can't tell if someone actually is listening to the song or not off of a pre-save.
Gotcha.
So it's a stream. Whereas someone pre-orders it, then they've already purchased it, so you know it's going to go directly into the library the day of.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good distinction. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I just found that out recently myself, so live
I had
and learn.
no clue. Yeah, live and learn. Just learn so much on this show. Tell us about the song Wilder.
Oh, man. So it was my first Zoom write.
Okay.
Right. And it was, I call them my golden guys, because there's a golden girls already, so I don't care. But I should call them my platinum boys. But anyway, so it was Troy Castellano, who I wrote I Wanna with.
Great guy.
And John Cirillo, who was a co-writer on my song Went Looking for Me.
Mm-hmm.
John Cirillo brought this idea. He said he had been holding on to it for like 2+ years. And he just started spitting out these lines. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, this is nice.
I want a piece of that.
I want to jump in on this. And there wasn't really much of a groove or a melody sense yet. So I grabbed my guitar and I started going to town. And like I told Casey and like I told everybody, ever since day one of whenever we were writing it, I always thought something sort of Jason Aldean.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't wait for people to hear it because the production is like Jason Aldean on steroids.
No kidding.
Oh man, it's amazing. My producer never disappointed. Jason Wyatt was like, "Oh, let's just make this thing scream." So, and Elliot, my other co-producer, his coined phrase is, "Dude, this track is freaking smoking, man." So,
well,
love you, buddy.
Smoke it out for us right now, brother.
Yeah,
I want to
absolutely.
hear it. Got to hear this song.
Yeah, man, it's a great one. I'm proud of it. I'm excited about it. She's a twister searching for a trailer park, kerosene waiting for a little spark, an arrow aiming for a beating heart. She's an alibi looking for a 3 a.m. stiletto heels with a wicked grin. When you bet on her, you better go all in. She is who she is, and she's what I want. She's danger, like a sinner on Sunday, crazier than a rodeo queen, can't tame her. Mustang running, everything I want her to be. She's freer than a Montana skyline, long hair blowing on a midnight ride. The best way I found to describe her, she's wilder. She's a sweet dream wrapped in a double dare, an exit sign saying anywhere. The way she loves a man, it just ain't fair. Ooh. She's a book that don't seem to match the cover, soft as rain and hard as thunder. No one knows her like I know her. Let me tell you, brother, she's danger, like a sinner on Sunday, crazier than a rodeo queen, can't tame her. Mustang running, everything I want her to be. Yeah, she's freer than a Montana skyline, long hair blowing on a midnight ride. The best way I found to describe her, she's wilder. She's wilder. She is who she is, and she's all I want. She's danger, like a sinner on Sunday, crazier than a rodeo queen, can't tame her. Mustang running, everything I want her to be. She's freer than a Montana skyline, long hair blowing on a midnight ride. The best way I found to describe her, yeah, the best way I found to describe her, she's wilder. She's wilder.
Justin Love is our guest. This is the Songwriter Connection podcast. I cannot wait to add that to my favorites on Spotify. Coming out next month. Look for it.
Yes.
I think I just might have a new favorite Justin Love song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You need to hear the recorded version. I'll shoot you the recorded version. I'll give you an exclusive on it.
Yeah, I got to hear that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We in songwriting, I always have learned, and I've heard this from other people, but I think the most important line in a song is the line just before the hook. And that song that you just sang illustrates that so much.
Yeah.
And it not only does it push the hook, but it's a rhyme that you wouldn't normally think would work. The best way to describe her, she's wilder. It's not a perfect rhyme, but it works perfectly.
No, absolutely. And I was thankful that that's actually my line, that describer. I was like, describer,
wow.
It was a good line. And John goes, oh, that's a John Cirillo. He's just, he writes like a worship artist. So he closes his eyes and he gets in his head and goes, stop. No, stop. And he writes it down. I don't like it. Stop. And it's so funny, But
I'm going to have to write with this guy.
Oh, it's amazing.
We got to get him on the show. We definitely do.
Yeah, he's great.
So, wow. That's great. What a great line.
Thank you, man.
Describer. She's a wilder.
Yeah, we're thankful he let me. I'm thankful he let me join that hook. Man, I love this song. I'm so excited. Can't wait for everybody to hear it.
Oh, can't wait to hear it too. Especially this production that you're talking about today.
Yeah.
So, sign that to me. Yeah.
Don't make anybody else feel like they're left out.
I promise I won't share it or anything. Yeah. So, very cool. So what else you got coming up this summer, man?
We are back in the studio. Oh.
Well, I know a couple of things.
Yeah.
Doing some research. You're going to play the Smoky Mountain Fest, right? In Gatlinburg?
No. I'm actually playing the not the Smoky Mountain.
Muscle Shoals?
Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals
Songwriter Festival. Yeah. And
now that's cool.
I'm excited about it. You know, and it's all because of my connections and just people that have been noticing what I've been doing and said, I think you should be there.
Wow.
I'm just thankful that I get to be part of it. We all submit our songs and hope and pray that we get picked. And thankfully I got picked, so it's nice.
Yeah, and last year we submitted last year, and then COVID, and they canceled it.
I know, right?
Yeah. And then they sent an email going, well, we'll still consider you for the year, next year. So that's coming up in September, is it? November.
Yeah.
So, and Muscle Shoals, if you've never been, oh man.
The
have
history.
You been?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You got to visit the studios and everything. And
my favorite thing down that way to just walk into and embrace the greatness and the moment and just the vibe and the energy.
You can feel it.
Is Fame Studios.
Fame Studios. Yeah, you just feel it when you walk in.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's not a heavy burden; it's a very light burden, but it's just so heavy, exciting. So
And then you also got to visit the studio where the Swampers went and made their own studio. There's so many classic records and the Skinner records.
I haven't been to that one yet.
Oh,
but
that
man,
one. Put that on the list when you go.
All right, I will.
There's so many great stories in there. Bob Seger and Paul Simon, and they'll tell you all the wonderful stories. Like Linda Ronstadt and how all the Swampers fell in love with her. And the Stones. Yeah. So
awesome.
Great history there, and you're going to enjoy that festival. Yeah, it's a great place to visit. So, hey, we need another song at least, So, what do you want to do for us?
Man, so I was talking to a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and I literally sometimes go on a whim, and she was. I put a little clip on Instagram of this song that I wrote with Mark Roma and Corley Barker called Everything We Got.
Wow. Right? I'm writing with Mark here this month. So.
Yeah. And one of the first opening lines is, you ain't ever been the gambling type, betting odds on a good man like me. And so apparently my little clip resonated with this person so much that they were in public crying. So they asked me, they says, have you finished this song? And I was like, yeah. And they said, could you send it to me? And I was like, okay, sure. I ain't heard from this person in a hot second and a half, but they keep up with my, my Instagram and my social medias, and they're busy traveling, and I think it's some kind of nurse. So she's some kind of nurse. But anyway, so I'll do this song.
You're gonna make us cry. That's what you're gonna do. Right?
What's that?
You're gonna make us cry. Is that what you're gonna do?
No, I don't think I'm gonna make. if people decide to listen to this and actually go there, it was written from a moment of pain, obviously, being led on. But the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's going to make people cry. It doesn't make me cry. It just
not me either.
I like to bring myself
stuff.
to that place of pain when I sing it. How else to make someone feel it if you don't feel it?
Exactly. What's this one called?
Everything We Got.
Everything We Got.
Yeah. Which haven't played in a hot second, so this is gonna be fun, dadgum. I'm super excited about this song. You ain't ever been the gambling type, betting odds on a good man like me. Keeping cards in your hand feel right. This all in was a little bit too deep. Cause someone who was a friend in the end turned into much more than what a friend would be. Seems impossible to think something like this could happen to us. Can't be coincidence. Not saying love is how we feel, but taking risk is worth a chance. See where it goes, see where it leads. Waiting down this road could be you and me. Oh baby, we'd be crazy not to take a shot and give everything we got. See, I've been counting on a queen of hearts, dealt hands I can never win, and it's only gonna take one card. Might lose, but with you I'm going all in. Cause someone who was a friend can't pretend just friends. It's all we thought we'd ever be. Well, I'm starting to believe that something like this could happen to us. Can't be coincidence. Not saying love is how we feel, but taking risk is worth the chance. See where it goes, see where it leads. Waiting down this road could be you and me. Oh baby, we'd be crazy not to take a shot and give everything we got. Seems impossible to think, but I'm starting to believe. Yeah, I'm starting to believe something like this could happen to us. Can't be coincidence. Not saying love is how we feel, but taking risk is worth the chance. See where it goes, see where it leads. Waiting down this road could be you and me. Oh baby, we'd be crazy not to take a shot. Come on baby, we'd be crazy not to take a shot and give everything we got. Everything we got. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh.
He is just in love, and he's giving it everything he's got, that's for sure. Justin, I know you're very busy, and you do keep a busy schedule with songwriting, your job, and getting out there and playing all the time. But I'm so proud of the work you're doing and the success you're having.
Thank
and
you
I can
so
certainly
much,
understand why. And I got a feeling big things happen for you. 8 years into a 10-year town, as they say. You're right there on the cusp, and I always enjoy watching you. Folks, if you're coming into Nashville, if you don't live here, look at the Songwriter rounds, They're out there on the socials. Look for Justin Love. And if you happen to be in town where he's playing, and I bet you will be, you got to check him out. You will enjoy it. He is the entire package. He can write, he can play, he can sing, and plays more than one instrument too. So he's just an all-around great guy.
Thank you so much, Dave. It's been a pleasure being here, and thank you for having me on your podcast. I can't wait, to find out what people think about it, and again, I'm just thankful that I'm still able to be here kicking and screaming and wiggling my feet, so to speak, when people see me live. And just being able to give off that energy and people resonating with it and still being in this town is just a blessing.
You do give off the energy from, I tell you really do. So,
Thank you,
you can feel it in the room when you play. So check him out, Justin Love Music. On .com.
Yes, sir.
You can find him there, all the socials, Facebook and Instagram, and Spotify and all those places you get music. So Justin Love, our guest. And that's it for season 1. Thank you for making it possible. And I look forward to joining you real soon. Season 2 coming up later on this year on the Songwriter Connection. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Linehan's Nashville Connection radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.